updates. Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I am driving this. This is the third generation of the BMW X3. Straight away we're going to be opening the engine bay with one finger. Yeah, that is how it opens. Thanks to hydraulic struts, of course. There's a strut bar there. BMW twin power turbo engine with BMW badging right there. There is no insulation here. It doesn't need it because the motor is so freaking refined. Let's shut this. You get the typical BMW affair, or rather the BMW bits on this car, like the kidney grill, which by the way is shut at the moment. It actually opens when it needs to breathe. This is obviously for aerodynamic reasons. Chrome everywhere, a lot of chrome. Front parking sensors. This is actually the front fog light, which is also quite high. This is the beautiful light. Light looks awesome. Just look at it. Okay, these are BMW adaptive LEDs. You can see it's written right there. Really nice, really bright, and get the job done at night. Now this car actually looks like a mini X5 from certain angles. I love this brown shade. It looks fantabulous on this car. People do confuse this car to be the X5 from the side because they look so similar. The hood is really very long as such. That's what she said. The tire size happens to be 245/50 19s. I like the wheels also. The wheel design with the multi-spokes, fantastic. Obviously, you've got chrome, and this is fake. I don't know why they do fake stuff. There's no need to do it. Meanwhile, these are not functional roof rails, of course. And coming to the side, I have some things which I don't like. First and foremost, there is no request sensor. You have to unlock the car with the key. Yeah, that is really sad at this price point. But something projects from here. There's a light which projects on the road to tell you where the car is. Coming to the rear, again, typical BMW SUV design elements. They just do not experiment with the design. It's like an evolution from the older model and similar across the whole family. But the lights look really nice. Obviously, these are LED units. This is the rear fog light, which is Chintu Mintu. X-Drive 30i is written there. Dual exhausts, which are very much functional because BMW does real exhaust. It doesn't do fake exhaust. This is the camera of the vehicle, and there's sort of a spoiler as well. Let's open the boot straight away, and there opens the boot. Obviously, it's a power tailgate. What's underneath here, you see, everything is very nicely concealed. Rear parking sensors here. Boot is actually big enough. However, spare wheel is placed right there, which is obviously not an alloy. Actually, it is, who cares? It is not the regular size tire. It is actually, again, Chintu Mintu 135/80/18. Okay, you can shut this. Now this splits forward in 40/20/40 format, just so that it is easier to carry longer items. In fact, I can just pull this lever there and there it folds. That's how easy it is. Parcel shelf, easy to operate. Then I'm going to activate the parcel shelf, and there is, of course, yeah, I have to get in from below to show you guys this 12-volt charging socket, and there is a hook as well. So practical boot without a doubt. Let me press this button, power tailgate, and there closes the boot. Takes its own sweet time, but obviously, you know, electric tailgate works that way. Coming to the rear, first and foremost, there is good amount of space because, oh my god, what is this? Yeah, Isofix child seat mounts. What do you think, guys? Oh my god, the seats are really heavy. Recline angle is nice. There's good amount of space, but there's a hump in the center. 3 people are not really comfortable. But 2 USB-C charging sockets. There's storage space right above as well. AC controls, AC vents here, and you can turn on the AC like this. So it gets a 3-zone climate control air conditioning. We're going to shut that for a moment. Front air conditioning has turned on, so people can actually operate the front air conditioning from here. It's going to make a lot of noise, so we're going to shut the air conditioning for a moment. I don't know why the rear guy can control the front air conditioning. That's not right. Meanwhile, you get sun blinds here, which are actually manually operated, so you have to do it yourself like that. And the door pockets are big enough. Yeah, multiple compartments. Has this X badging right there. You can see the ambient lighting. Ambient lighting is beautiful. Nice wood treatment, genuine leather inside this car. Scooped out seat back, magazine holders, good amount of leg room and knee room. Under thigh support could be slightly better though. Yeah, they could have actually offered a longer seat. Headroom is actually decent. Seat recline angle is also fine. Hook, handle, light, all that, the usual bits you would expect. Here you can move the driver headrest quite easily. I'm just like pushing it and there it goes. Okay, to put it down I have to do that. Otherwise I can just like, oh my god, that is actually a trick to play with. Not with the driver, but with the co-driver. The co-driver anyways is going to be pissed because most cars people can operate the co-driver seat. Anyways, thankfully the center passenger has a head because 3 adjustable headrests, and oh my god, it's so stiff. Well, that's what she said. Twin cup holders, and obviously you get an armrest as well. Isofix child seat mounts. Yeah, there they are. Stop playing with them. And what does it open? Yeah, this actually also opens like this, so that you can carry longer items. Yeah, what do you mean by longer items? Like people who ski, they can carry the whatever. Who cares? Nobody. Let's see the dashboard of the car. Typical BMW affair, similar to the 5 Series, but you know what? this is similar to the pre-facelift 5 Series, because updated 5 Series obviously gets a bigger 12.3-inch infotainment system. Again, the updated or the facelifted X3 also gets the same, but these are pre-facelifted models. I mean, the comparison I was making with the 5 Series as well as the X3, which is the pre-facelift, both of them get a 10.25-inch screen, which I will show you straight away. First and foremost, both the driver and co-passenger seats are electrically adjustable. Seats are supremely comfortable. Like, look at the length of the seat, really awesome, and massive door pockets at the front. Thankfully, they have used metal switches. In order to open the boot, you press this button. I think the position could be such that you will not do it accidentally, but they haven't thought about that. Says X right there. Harman Kardon speakers. Yes. I have absolutely no idea. I am also new here. Anyways, coming back to the vlog, there you see there is actually a proper dead pedal. I honestly do not know the sectors here. I am not like, I would love to help people. There is a storage compartment, but because it is kind of reclining, stuff will come more closer here unless you keep bigger items. Here you get the controls for the lights, front fogs, rear fogs, headlight leveler. These are parking lights, and it's time to get inside finally. But variant name is not written anywhere. It is written luxury line right there, so people know that you're driving the luxury line when you open the door. I don't know how many people are going to peep in here to see that. Let's get inside. Now, a lot of things to like. Firstly, the dashboard design is really very attractive, and there are a lot of soft materials as well. Glove box is actually decent sized. Meanwhile, okay, auto dimming inside rear view mirror, of course. Here you get the lights, plenty of lights on the top, and you obviously get a mirror along with the light. Here too, mirror along with the light, and you get a handle on the driver's side. No height adjustable seat belts at the front, which is kind of unfortunate. Let's do one thing. Let's open the sunroof of the vehicle, and there opens the sunroof. Now, it's a panoramic roof which brings in a lot of air inside the cabin. I mean, gives you the airy feeling as such. That's the maximum it opens. But you know what is the real advantage? The cabin is finished in a lot of beige, so already the cabin is very airy with a lot of glass area, which I like. I don't know why. Oh my god, I closed it. It automatically sensed and opened it. So this car is not flawless. It has some issues, specifically with the Bluetooth system, wherein it skips audio in between. That's kind of obnoxious. They need to sort out the software on this vehicle. Here you've got storage space, actually twin cup holders, and there is a 12-volt charging socket. Wireless charging pad, says X3 here, just in case you forget which car you are in. And these are the controls for the air conditioning. Like, this is dual zone air conditioning, of course. There's a CD changer here. These are the controls for the audio system, of course. Hazard light, start stop button feels nice. This is the start stop button. This is the start stop engine button. This is the, okay, whatever, you understand the difference between this is starting the car and this is for the stop start system to conserve fuel, with fuel prices going through the roof at the moment. 10.25-inch screen, little chintu mintu. 12.3 would be nice, which is obviously coming with the facelifted model. Here you get the iDrive controller with some buttons, electric parking brake, auto hold function. And this is for downhill assist. This is for the parking sensors, or rather for parking, the park assist. Meanwhile, these are the drive modes. You can see them. I will talk about them when we are driving the car. Yeah, there they are, the drive modes. And there's the traction control button. Obviously, I love the gear lever on BMW cars. They are so fantastic to hold. You know what? You can just slot it like this to get into manual mode. And when I press P, here park, there it slides back and gets into position as well. Okay, there's storage space below the front center armrest where there is a USB-C charging socket. Otherwise, the USB here happens to be a regular one, not a USB-C. Let's go through the screen. It's very nice and very slick to use. Actually, it's very fast as well. You get the usual bits. Now, this is shared with all the new BMW cars, so you can get into settings. You can browse through all the information. Very slick, very fast, and easy to use menu as well, which is nice. Obviously, it gets navigation, media, audio, and all that stuff. What I particularly like and what I think is very impressive is that you obviously get the vehicle status and all that. But what I really find very impressive with the new BMW, I mean, infotainment system is super slick to use. This rotary controller is super awesome. Mercedes has dropped it, so they're losing out there. And obviously, you can use it with voice commands as well, which we'll do when we're driving. And it's also a touch. Yeah, this is a touch too, which is again super duper awesome. It's got, I think, 11 colors for ambient lighting, which is not 64 colors which Mercedes-Benz offers. Yeah, that is a little less. They should have offered more colors for the ambient lighting. I don't know why BMW is not doing more colors, because Mercedes has taken to the next step with the S-Class, of course. And I like the fact that the car color here is brown, same as the color of the car which I'm driving right now. Instrument cluster is nice, but you know what is the issue with the instrument cluster? It feels and seems a bit varnished to me. Now, there's this BC button. You can use this to browse through a lot of information on the right. This doesn't get a heads-up display. It doesn't even get gesture control. Unfortunately, you get all the information, and obviously when you change the drive modes, the color also changes of the instrument cluster. But you know what? You can't really understand where the tachometer is going. That is kind of unfortunate. Steering feels nice to hold. These are actually the controls for the audio system, and to also browse through the multi-information display. Like there you see, if I want to go to music collection or radio or whatever. This is of course for the cruise control, and this is for the indicator. Meanwhile, this is for the wiper. Let's use the wipers rather. Wipers, lot of spray. That's like crazy. I can take a bath in this spray. That's the level of spray on offer. And obviously at the rear, there you see the spray is coming. The wiper works fantastically well because I've driven this car in a lot of rain, and I can tell you the wipers are absolutely stunning on this car. Dual blade wipers or whatever you want to call it, nobody cares. Harman Kardon speakers on this car. Let's listen to an audio right away. Audio quality is just fantastic. Let's get into reverse. This is the reverse parking camera. Just gets a reverse camera, doesn't get a front camera. This sensor thingy, which is absolutely stellar, it blinks and tells you exactly where you're going to hit the car when you're parking. It's really very nice. I love it. It's got park assist as well. Steering is so easy to twirl. Quality levels are nice, and you get metal paddles as well, which is good thing. Most people are offering plastic. So yeah, it could be loaded with a lot more features, but there's not much to complain about because the cabin actually feels fantastic and quality levels are super duper awesome. It feels premium in the real sense. Of course, with the facelift, things are going to get even better. So let's not dwell too much on the interior front. Let's start driving this petrol engine right away because I have a lot of expectations from BMW's petrol engines. Although 30i should always be a 6-cylinder because that was the case earlier, but then BMW has, I don't know, gone bonkers, offering us. Okay, let's not dwell into that because it's just going to make us upset. Here you see, where is the tachometer? It's kind of vanished. A lot of data here everywhere. Let's start driving right away. Alright, we are all set to go, which means turning off the air conditioning. Hey BMW.
Good morning. What can I help you with?
Sport displays.
Sport displays.
We also get into drive. We get into sport manual, whatever that is. Get into traction control. We are going to turn off traction control. We keep this pressed. Traction control will completely turn off. And there it does. DSC off. Meanwhile, we also get into sport. So here we are into sport plus. We also change the instrument cluster to get us into this thing which shows us how much power and torque is being consumed in real time. It's again telling me that DSC is off. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator. Hazard light off, and off we go. Acceleration is actually quite brisk. This 2-liter petrol engine is very smooth, very refined, but also because of BMW's damped front windshield, you can't hear much inside the cabin, and being a petrol, obviously it's very refined. It's a 2-liter turbo petrol engine with direct injection, produces 252 horsepower, which comes in at 5,200 RPM, and the torque output happens to be 350 Newton meters, which comes in between 1450 RPM all the way to 4800 RPM, giving it a very wide torque band. And with all that torque coming lower down the rev range, you would expect to have no turbo lag, but there is some which can be felt specifically when you drive the car in the city, but out on the highway you do not realize it at all. This gearbox does a fantastic job of masking all that turbo lag to a great extent. So motor is really smooth, mid-range is fantastic, and then it also has a nice screaming top end too. You obviously have got paddle shifters. Now this is an 8-speed Steptronic gearbox, which is actually a torque converter unit, which is decently quick with shifts, and in Sport Plus mode obviously it will give you a downshift when you want one for sure. Meanwhile, the engine keeps itself on the boil. It feels very aggressive the way this engine responds, but it's not very vocal. You can't hear much inside the cabin because it's so smooth, it's so refined. Obviously when you get into higher end of the rev range, there you can hear something for sure. And there it redlines till 7,000 RPM. It will not make an upshift unless and until you decide to do so. So it gives you complete manual control of things as well, which is actually a very good thing. So the steering is actually quite light, but it weighs up too much. I think it weighs up massively well in Sport Plus mode. So kind of feels artificial in that regard. Although at low speed it's fine, comfort mode also it's fine. But in Sport Plus it is just too heavy and just too weighty. But not in a natural and progressive way. It feels very artificially weight. Now there are 7 freaking drive modes on offer. Yeah, that's right, 7 freaking drive modes. That's 2 drive modes too many, because we've got Comfort, which has a standard setting. Eco Pro has standard as well as individual, and then of course we've got Sport, which has got, okay, it's not going to upshift unless and until I decide to do so. Sport has got standard, there's Plus, Sport Plus, which we are driving right now, and there's individual as well. And in individual you can obviously configure 4 things. Basically all these modes change largely 4 things, which is the engine and the gearbox, which can be set to Comfort, Sport or Sport Plus, and then of course the steering and the dampers, which can be set to either Comfort or Sport. There is no Sport Plus in that one. And then there is something known as adaptive as well, which basically depending on the driving conditions can adapt to your driving and make changes accordingly. Now it's got adaptive dampers, which results in a very good ride, and obviously a massive change when you change the modes as well, because the dampers stiffen up in sport mode to give you a better drive. The problem here is that the suspension travel is quite a lot, which actually lends it very good ride quality. But the major problem here for me personally is that higher speeds there is this vertical movement which you can feel, and overall body roll is very well contained. It has got automatic differential as well. So what it does is basically it can decide how much torque it wants to channel between the rear wheels, how to split it to ensure that you've got optimum amount of traction. And obviously this is an X-drive system, and being an X-drive system, it channels more power to the rear wheels than to the front to make it more rear biased power delivery for a more fun driving experience. And in Sport Plus and all those modes, in the higher, like the more sportier modes, it obviously channels more power to the rear wheels for more dynamic driving as such. Now it has got 50-50 weight distribution, which results in such a fantastic body control, but there is no taking away from the fact that there is body roll. And this is the car which is not as BMW as it should be, because BMW is becoming Audi and Audi is becoming BMW. How is that? Well, Audi is making cars with great steering wheels and good handling, and BMW is going softer and softer to appeal to a larger audience. I don't really know how that's going to work out, because BMW is definitely losing its charm. This X3 isn't as dynamically capable as the predecessor, the second generation model. This is obviously the third generation model, which is going to get the facelifted model anytime soon, which gets hybrid tech throughout the range. All engines get hybrid tech. The previous generation X3 was more driver oriented and less comfort oriented. This has a better balance of ride and handling, but it's not as dynamic as before. Not many people are going to complain about it, because it definitely gets the job done, feels very smooth to drive, and the engine has good amount of punch. But then a 4-cylinder engine, well, that's not my liking for sure. A 6-cylinder would be really nice. Unfortunately, they're not offering any 6-cylinder engine, so yeah, the 30D is gone. There is no 30D on offer here, and maybe they could have offered us the 40i as well, but yeah, that actually is the M40i. That is not here either. So the range of the engines is kind of small. Hopefully with the facelift they fix that. Oh my god, this guy is blowing smoke or what? And off we go. First gear it upshifted at 6000 RPM, second gear upshifted at 6500 RPM, and the shifts were really fast and really crisp. Now we're talking about the predecessor, the second generation of the X3. This is the third generation model, of course. This actually weighs 55 kgs lesser than its predecessor, giving it more agility. However, the agility is actually robbed with the fact that in spite of the size being the same more or less, the wheelbase has increased, which gives it good high-speed stability but drops away the agility. So in terms of high-speed stability, there's no issue. Only thing is when you get onto expansion joints, there's some bit of vertical movement which you can feel. But still, it's a very fun car to drive. It doesn't feel stiff in any way, because it's not really stiff as such. That said, there are 3 variants on offer. 2 are for the petrol. The petrol is known as the X-Drive 30i, and then there's one for the diesel, which is the X-Drive 20D. Now, the thing is that the petrol is available in a Sport X, which is priced at rupees 69 lakhs, and this one, which is the luxury line, is priced at rupees 75 lakhs, and the diesel is available only in the luxury line. The price range is actually 69 lakhs for the base petrol, this one is 75 lakhs, and the diesel is 78 lakhs. All the prices are on road Mumbai. So the BMW X3 is actually quite a nice package, and I would suggest you wait for the facelift, which will cost around 2 to 3 lakhs more, but then you can get good discounts on the older model, obviously till stocks last. As I see it, this car competes with the Mercedes GLC largely, and the GLC is also very competent, but this new one feels quite posh as well. Doesn't feel like an entry-level BMW SUV model in any sense, because it's not. It's the X1 which is, the X3 is not, and then you can have a lot of fun because good amount of grip on offer. So guys, this is my vlog of the BMW X3. If you like it, make sure to give the thumbs up, that's the like button, and also subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next video real soon. Bye bye.